think they're developing rat lines, and that's my take that no one asked for. Do you remember learning about rat lines in school? Like toward the end of and after World War II, the German Nazis needed to flee because they knew that Judgment Day was coming and justice was going to be served, aka the Nuremberg trials. So they needed to get the F out of Dodge, and Argentina was known to be much more sympathetic to the Yazis at the time. So then rat lines needed to be established in order to guarantee some level of safe passage for these Yazis that are fleeing to Argentina. And I believe that that's what's taking place with our 21st century Yazis. They're feeling the noose kind of tightening around them, and they need to develop their escape plan. And then if you look at this map, you see the political leanings of South America. For the most part, it's pretty blue and purple. However, you see Argentina is purple. And what better way to push that over to the right than $40 billion. So let's say you're a war criminal from the United States and want to make it safely down to Argentina to live out the rest of your life and roll in your billions of dollars that you robbed from us. Well, you can't really go over land through all of these blue countries because they probably wouldn't let you do that. So what's the next best route? Maybe by boat. From the United States going down along the coast, down to Argentina. Well, those are international waters, and there's a lot of traffic out there. So how do you make your own HOV lane from the United States down to Argentina? Here's an idea. You can send the US Navy out into the Caribbean to patrol these waters and start indiscriminately blowing up random fishing boats. Because I can tell you that if cars started getting blown up on my route to work, I may find a different route. So then you ask, what does Venezuela have to do with all this? Just hang with me, I promise I land this plane. So Venezuela up there, even though it's kind of scattered with blue countries around, has a shit ton of oil. And the Eric that Trump ordered but did not get, Erik Prince, who, you know, the Erik Prince of Blackwater and whatever they call themselves now, they're this whole mercenary group that basically plans military takeovers of various countries. They've been charged and convicted of, you know, killing a bunch of innocent civilians, but then Trump pardoned them. Well, he wants Venezuela. He wants the oil in Venezuela, and they want to control that regime change because where there's oil, there's money, and they need to bankroll this operation here. Then you get to add Daddy Vladdy to the mix, and he's over there in Russia, and no matter what they tell you, they are losing that war. Their weapons are being depleted. Their manpower is being depleted, which, by the way, they refer to them as meat. They're soldiers. And so you might have Daddy Vladdy looking for an escape route too. Well, how do you get him safely from Russia to Argentina? Well, you see how close Russia and Alaska are up there. In fact, the Bering Strait right there is only about 2.5 miles between the two land masses. So combine that with the latest announcement that they just want to build a tunnel between Russia and the United States, you know, just for funsies. So then Daddy Vladdy pops over to Alaska, and then you start putting the other pieces together of basically the occupation of the western coast of the United States. So they need to develop the western rat line that goes from Russia down the United States western coast. Because when you zoom out and just kind of look at this like a game of Risk and the different pieces that are moving and the different countries and territories that they're wanting to take over as opposed to the more isolated incidents, you can see that this is all a plan. This is all a grand plan. It's not just about these individual cities that are being targeted. It's about creating these rat lines and creating these paths that can ultimately be used for their final escape.